Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Friday Truck Series here on Green, White, Checkered TV. It's week 3. We are here at Echo Park Speedway, also known as Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we've got 100 laps around this 1.52-mile oval and plenty of Superspeedway action to bring to you tonight. You'll hear a couple voices here, myself, Boomer Logan, and my good friend Brandon Briggs up in the booth, and we are definitely excited to bring this one to you guys tonight. How about you, Brandon? What's got you excited here on this Friday night about some Friday night super speedway racing?
Yeah, to me, Atlanta, Echo Park, whatever you want to call it nowadays. But this to me has become the short track of super speedway racing. It brings that super speedway vibe with some short track hits. So these guys, it's going to be a lot different from what we've seen in the first two races with Talladega and Daytona. A little bit more spread out, a little bit more. Let's get the pitch right. Here, it's going to be everything. A lot of door banging. The guy's going to have to hold really steady lines, and we know as we look right here at the try over here, this is where it starts to get tight. Those guys are really going to have to make those trucks work. 2 lanes, it'll be okay. 3 lanes is when chaos happens.
Yeah, and we always point it out when we come here. This is in the corners at least as wide as Daytona, but obviously with one entire less mile of distance to the track, the radius of the corners is quite a bit more sharp, which means that there really isn't a lot of space. I mean, even if it is the exact same width, and theoretically there is the exact same amount of space, it's a lot harder to kind of hold that position versus at the high banks and the big corners of Daytona. So, and as Brandon mentioned there, it's about 5 lanes wide on the front stretch, so it widens out quite a bit in the tri-oval. So you really have to be mindful of that and be careful because you're going to have to sort that out in the couple hundred, maybe 1,000 foot or so before you get back into turn one and get ready to be double file or a very tight three wide. But yeah, we're just about done with qualifying here. We'll bring you those qualifying results here as the grid gets started here and yeah, get going for again 100 laps, about 150 miles for this Friday night's action.
Yeah,
So
boom. One thing I think these one guys are really going to have to focus on tonight is they wrap up their qualifying is patience. Teammates talking to each other. Stay a little bit calm. I don't need as many pushes as I did at the first two tracks. I need you to stay as close as you can without hitting me. But the drivers are starting to grid. We're getting ready to go.
drivers are getting to their trucks, and you'll see the field on pit road getting ready for that pace car to pull off here, and we'll bring up that grid for you. You see that number 16 truck, Cody Nagels. He's got Nightmare Esports on the ticker there. Obviously he's running with Paul Witt and Vicente Guerrero as well tonight. So Jack Walls is going to carry the banner for Roswell Motorsports as their highest qualifier. He's going to be in that second position there at that number 83 truck. Austin McCarthy has had a strong start to his tenure here. Very young tenure at Area 51, but strong nonetheless. Dean Wilkinson in that number 55. He's going to be to the outside carrying the banner for TW Motorsports. Vicente Guerrero in that number 14 truck is going to be rolling off in P5 as we get ready to roll off. Looks like pace car is just about to move here, so we'll keep going through. Tom Dixon's going to be outside of row number 3 there, and then Paul Witt is going to be inside of row 4 with Doug Webb of Team Bootnaka Esports to his outside. Everett Lane and Bud Steele side by side in the 24 and 6 trucks, respectively. They will be rounding out the top 10 for tonight. And we've got Bob Fitzgerald in the 08, William Roberts in the 21 to his outside, and that'll be your 6th row. And actually, it looks like we had an issue for Cody Nagels missing the start here, so he's actually going to have to start from the pits. So that pole position is actually going to move up to the well, Austin McCarthy. So he scored as the 3, but he does have a 99 on the truck, so we'll have to pay attention to that as the night goes on, as we keep rolling through this grid here and get you to that before the start of the green flag. And we've got a few more names here. Charles Johnson and Philip Bridgman. They're going to be side by side row number 7. Paul Turner and Guy L. Brooks. These are some of the guys that elected not to take qualifying time. 8th row there. Gary Huffines and Robert Rock in the 9th row. Robert kicking off the season with a win for the first time in a while and hoping to continue his luck so far early on in this season. And Thomas Holder's going to start shotgun on the field in that 19th position. And we are just about ready. Lights are off on the pace car.
Yeah, tough break there for Cody Nagels, but ran pretty good these first 2 races, and he's leading the points right now. So to keep where he's at, he's going to have to get back to the wheel and get back to it. As these guys are ready to bring us to the green.
Green flag just about ready here, and we are going to be underway again for the first of 100 laps. That number 99 truck again scored as the 3 on the ticker for McCarthy there. A little bit of a connection issue as we get started, and oh no, the 83 of Jack Walls is going to get turned by the 14 of Vicente Carrero. And there is no caution yet. We still stay green. Looking like there could have been some issues there at the beginning with some network connection. It looked like there was a lot of net code going on there with that contact.
Yeah, tough break there for Austin McCarthy or Vicente right there. Yeah, the leader he's having just a little bit of network, and that comes with sim racing and just a tough break. Hopefully, it gets itself figured out there. But yeah, like you said, for Vicente and those guys back there, very tough break. But we did see Cody Nagels. He had to start from the pit. That is a teammate of Vicente, so maybe them guys can work together and make some good out of this. 'Cause still seeing a little bit of hiccup there from that front truck.
Yeah, definitely surprised to see him leading with that issue. Typically, the best thing to do is just to kind of get out of the way of everybody and until you can at least know that your issue is sorted out, because that can definitely throw off quite a bit when it comes to, I mean, a lot of different things, but obviously right now it's kind of throwing off the running order a little bit, but as of right now, it is the 3 truck of McCarthy that is in the lead. Dean Wilkinson, Tom Dixon, Doug Webb there, Everett Lane, and Paul Witt. Currently your top 6, Bud Steele, Bob Fitzgerald, Charles Johnson, and Paul Turner. Your top 10 at the moment, working on lap number 3 right now. And we have a little bit of a breakaway to this second pack already. Robert Rock is going to be about 2.3 seconds off the rear bumper of Gael Brooks, but he's got Gary Huffines and Thomas Holder, and we'll keep an eye on their speeds to see if they can catch up. And obviously from that lap 1 contact there, Jack Walls is stuck back another 7 seconds behind them. Cody Nagels has found Vicente Guerrero, though, so they are in 18th and 19th, and they are on the tail end of the lead lap, and this gives them a chance to hopefully try and catch back up to this pack before we get to what could be, probably around 26 laps or so we're hearing for green flag pit cycles, or at least how many laps you need to go before you need to pit.
Yeah, and looks like everything did get figured out back out here. These fellas are back nose to tail, and this is the type of racing that we're going to look at all night. And as soon as I say something, just another little bit of a hiccup there, and ooh, that's right there. Then pushes. This is where we talked about is where these pushes. You want that guy there, but sometimes it's just best to have him right there on the nose. As I think maybe Dean is saying, "Hey, I've had a couple incidents already. Let me get back here and let it settle down." As he's going to now be the push truck. Is still seeing some hiccups from that 99 there of Austin Park.
Yeah, still some ongoing connection issues for him there, but obviously we stay green. Tom Dixon is going to collect a lap lead here through the tri-oval. Then to the Austin McCarthy, Doug Webb, Everett Lane, Paul Witt. And looks like we don't really have too many high climbers. We do have some that have dropped quite a few spots. Obviously, Jack Wall's down 15. Cody Nagels down 17 after starting on pit road. Vicente Guerrero drops 14 to go back and pick him up and try to draft back up to this pack. But nobody climbing more than 5 spots at the moment, and that would actually include Tom Dixon, Doug Webb, Everett Lane, and Charles Johnson. But everyone somewhere between +2 to +5, and most of the minuses are at the back of the pack. So, yeah, we've got pretty quiet first group here, and obviously we've seen some side-by-side action, but it doesn't seem like that top lane's trying to form too well.
Yeah, I'm really shocked with the connection there. Some of these guys that form up and try to just make a pack. Hey, we're going to run the outside. We have seen this year the outside be dominant. Figured it may be a little bit different here coming to Atlanta with a different style of super speed racing, but You can see those guys Everett Lane up there. Hey, let's go now. Is just can't get quite situated, but as you can see here now, that third or second lane is starting to form, and the speed will be coming.
Yeah, Everett will be leading that outside lane there in the 24 truck. Also, the last name of Lane as well. He's got a couple teammates lined up behind him, but Tom Dixon's still the man on the point, working on lap number 9, coming to 10 here as they cross the stripe, and we're running about 30 to 31 second laps. Looks like the fastest so far has been, yeah, mid 30s. We're running about 31 30s, 31 40s at the front of the pack right now. So it's definitely, I mean, it's quick. It's, it's 20 to 30 seconds faster than a lap at, most of the other super speedways that we go to. So it's, I mean, these laps go very fast, and a lot can happen in a very short amount of time at this track. And I know we haven't seen it yet, but those speeds are going to fall off more than typical, at least for super speedway racing, just because the nature of, a little bit of tire wear that they still see here at Atlanta. And I don't know about you, Brandon, but I kind of enjoy that, having to manage that. It adds another aspect to this track, which kind of makes it a little unique and fun.
Yeah, most definitely, and it gives the driver something else to think about. And when you want to make that final pit stop, that can determine everything. We've seen guys like Dean Wilkinson come in a 3 truck pack and completely shift the whole field with their decision, and they decided to take 2 instead of 4, and they got about a 10-second lead one season here, and it was cut down by a caution. But those tires, as you said, can come into play a huge factor late in the race, but can also change it. Some guys may overthink it. I need 4 instead of 2 here at the end for a better controlling truck, and some guys choose a different scenario, and then it actually comes back to backfire. So, but with that being said, we're gonna see this 21 truck try to form something here on this outside lane.
Yeah, William Roberts up 7 at the moment here. He's got, looks like the 7 truck of Philip Bridgman with him there. Those two are doing what they can to move towards the front of the field now. And a little bit of a wiggle there from the push in the middle of the corner, and that's going to set them back just a little bit here. But Tom Dixon still holding on to that point and collecting quite a few laps led early on, at least, for that bonus point for the most laps led. And we know how important those bonus points can be when it comes down to the championship. Obviously, we got a little ways to go before we really start thinking about getting ready to gear up for that. Really, it's a chase, which obviously NASCAR's going back to this year, which is exciting. But it'll be a 4-race chase, if you will, and obviously the points will reset. And everyone will have 4 races to try and go out and win the championship. But you got to be in that conversation, and that takes a lot of consistency and good finishes and maximizing all your efforts throughout the season as we get to that point.
Yeah, and I did some reporting in the off season and spoke to some guys there at NASCAR that said they was watching Area 51 and loved how exciting the championships were here, and said, "Hey, we got to go back to it." Won't relay what source because good reporter never lets go of his sources. But hey, I'm glad it's here in Area 51. Hey, I'm telling you what, these guys, when it comes down to that playoff time, got boom, it is rocking. So. Right here, as we talk about this right here, these guys building that notepad is, as you always like to say, building and packing in that notepad, learning some things. Some of these drivers new here to Area 51. Definitely be keeping this in your mind as you're hitting every one of these pit stops and all these laps go by. Is make sure you're jotting down some notes so you got something to fall back on, as we will come to Atlanta a few times this season.
Yeah, I don't really see anybody trying to make too many moves early on. It's been pretty quiet, other than obviously the lap 1 contact that put the 83 and the 14 in a little bit of a hole here. But they're still holding on pretty well further back there. It looks like they're about, yeah, so 15, 17, 18 seconds or so behind. They're 15 seconds behind Robert Rock, and they're 18 seconds or so behind the leader. But Cody Nagels, Vicente, and Jack Walls have all found each other in that pack, which is going to be helpful for them. Tom Dixon here is at the front, but I mean, we really haven't seen too many people try to make that outside line work. Every time it's started to come together, it's kind of faded apart pretty quickly, and you see the 21 and the 7 trying to work together And that 21 just, seems a little loose there as he's getting those pushes from the 7, especially through the middle of the corner there. Gets a bump there, sends him up the track, and the 9's going to try and maybe squeeze it 3 wide here. We're not sure where we're going to be, but definitely, other than that, really hasn't been a lot of people trying to build that notebook and trying different things.
Yeah, and speaking of the 21, I got to speak with him. He said he really loves the super speedway racing and felt like this league was going to be right up his alley. And 3 races in, he's putting that 21 truck right up front. As I believe he's going to have the bonus point for leading that lap. And him and him 7, they are in the same channel tonight. And now he's got one heck of a veteran behind him. There's Charles Johnson sneaks back into the top 5 to put that 9 truck back up there.
Yeah, Charles Johnson definitely one of the most tenured drivers here. We got quite a few veterans, but I mean it's a good mix. I mean, obviously we've talked about Austin McCarthy being new as of this season, so just a handful of races that you can count on his hand here in Area 51, but showing up and racing strong. And we've got the veteran of that number 9 truck there getting to the lead as William Roberts there tries to work that high side. He's got Phil Bridgman, his teammate, as you mentioned, working together tonight. They are now lined up nose to tail in the outside lane, and they're going to sail off down the back straightaway to complete lap 20 as they come around this time by.
Yeah, or Boom, I've been watching the ticker here, and it's ticking the other way for them 3 fellas in the back. I've been watching Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero. They caught Jack Walls, and they're now leading a 3-car truck back here. We know how pivotal the pit stops are, especially here at Atlanta since they moved the pit entry coming right down here into turn 3. You have to be with your teammates and you have to execute, and you cannot commit a penalty. You can let these guys right back into it. These guys right here been excellent so far on their pit stops. This right could be the moment that these guys need. It stayed green. They're going to need some green flag pit stops. They're starting to put that ticker. They were at 18. I believe it's down to 15 now. So they're caught back just 3 seconds since adding Jack Walls to that pack.
Yeah, the last couple laps, they've been about a half a second a lap faster than our leaders here, so that's definitely where that gap is definitely getting smaller very fast. And if they keep it up, obviously they would be more hoping for a caution. I would bet to make sure they can get back up to the pack, but if it keeps trending this way, they might have an opportunity to try and catch up on their own here. And we'll see how it green flag pit stops are always a good way to jumble up the pack, and you can see who's able to execute well and who's not, and that definitely will break up this pack. And who knows, we've seen Cody, Vicente, and Jack Walls pretty strong on pit road in the past, and they have an opportunity to really try and erase that deficit as it's down to 15 seconds now.
Yeah, and I think we heard a lot about it on the Sunday series here with Area 51, Vicente, Cody, and those guys. They talk about it, just the chemistry of just working together for so long, so many years, and understanding one another. And it's showing here tonight. But these guys up here, they got to start thinking about it. We, like you said earlier in the broadcast, 26 laps roughly. These guys on this outside lane, they haven't been saving any type of fuel. I'm leaning maybe here in the next 2 laps, they're going to have to bring these trucks down.
Yeah, we've heard by yourself you can run about 26 laps. Ooh, the 7 might have touched the wall just a little bit there through the tri-oval. Ooh, we do get another hit of the wall there, and that is the 98 truck of Gary Huffines, I believe. That tags the wall pretty good coming into turn 1. And looks like he's okay. And yeah, we actually have our first couple takers here on lap 25. That's going to be, so you mentioned earlier, you got to have that pit entry all the way down in turn 3. You don't have to be at pit road speed here, but you do have to be slow enough to make the corner and get around this apron. So the 411 is going to lead Robert Rock. Charles Johnson's also in, and Bob Fitzgerald this time. Then we're going to see William Roberts and Philip Bridgman at the point with Gary Huffines, Everett Lane, and Austin McCarthy, your top 5, as this group is going to come down pit road here. And we'll see if anybody else, a couple of drivers are going to be able to stretch at least one more lap. So the 21 of William Roberts coming down next. Philip Bridgman is with him. Gary Huffines, Austin McCarthy, Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero. And we'll keep an eye on the times and see who's doing what as far as pit stops. We do see Jack Walls come in by himself. Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero actually coming in this next lap as Everett Lane stays out on track. And I would bet that just about everybody else is going to come down this time, and it looks like, yeah, there's a big group coming down. Maybe one, the 5 of Paul Turner is actually going to stay out here and try to go one more lap. Everett Lane, Paul Witt, Doug Webb, Dean Wilkinson, Gael Brooks, Bud Steele, and Thomas Holder are in this second group here as they come down pit, or actually third group now as they come down pit road. A little bit of a checkup there for some speed, but looks like they get in okay and no problem.
Yeah, and I like this move by Turner, staying out, going as many laps as you can. I know it's thinking way too ahead of in this race, but as you go, the further you go and the further you go, it's going to make that last pit stop just that much shorter, and that can be a determining fact in this race. So not only that, but he's going to get the bonus point as well. So he's going to come in lone survivor here, but um, I like this move here by the 5.
Yeah, and we'll see the 7 is going to actually unlap himself there, and he's going to get to our leaders at the moment. So he's actually scored in the 3rd position. William Roberts in the 4th position. Gael Brooks is going to come out, actually scored in 2nd at the moment. And these guys all took no tires, it looks like, just fuel only, about 9 seconds or so. And we see Gary Huffines, Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero doing the same. Almost everybody else takes 4 tires, indicative of a 14 to 15 second pit stop. So we see Paul Turner there is going to come out, and he'll be picked up by the second pack here as it starts to form. But Philip Bridgman, William Roberts, and Gael Brooks are breaking away from the pack a little bit here.
Yeah, and this is what we just talked about that we seen a couple seasons ago with Dean Wilkinson and them guys. This is the same exact scenario. These guys took no tires, fuel only. That's normally the strategy at super speedways. Maybe right side tires, but at the bigger tracks, it doesn't really matter. These guys said skip it. No tires, fuel only. And like you said, they're out to a 5-second lead. And if they can stay nose to tail, not bumping each other crazy. Just keep a nice good pace where you don't have to keep letting off. These guys could really put a dent on this pace here because 3 trucks, we've seen it. They can be faster than the bigger pack. We just seen it earlier in the race with Vicente and Cody Nagel. So Gael, the 3rd truck, he's the most important truck here. So stay as close, but not run them over. So let's see what these guys can do up here. As the ticker's still going the other way, they're still pointing positive.
Yeah, actually, so Paul had to drop back to the pack behind him, but he is in with those guys now. Everett Lane's going to be taking over the point of that as he's got the push from Charles Johnson, and the 5 will fall back and try to fall in line somewhere in this mix. But this is from about 4th to 12th, and they have a pretty decent-sized group here. You're going to have to go back about 3.5 seconds. You're going to find Bob Fitzgerald, who is looking for a dancing partner in the draft, and so is Tom Dixon, but he's probably going to find it in these 2 here, and that would be Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero. Jack Walls is about 10 seconds off the pace of that. And then we see Thomas Holder about 11 seconds behind Jack Walls, shown as 1 lap down. And then Bud Steele spent about 55 seconds on pit road. So that's probably indicative of a 40-second penalty and a 15-second pit stop for fuel and tires. So some sort of penalty entering pit road for Bud Steele there. But yeah, we'll see how those times compare. It looks like Everett Lane that last time was catching about 0.4 of a second up to Philip Bridgman, William Roberts, and Gael in this pack here, the 7:21.71. So we'll see if that stabilizes. Typically, we've seen 3 trucks be able to be almost as fast as a pack, but you have to be so incredibly organized. And that gap you see there between the 7 and the 21 is potentially just enough for that bigger pack to really start to reel these guys in. And you can see that that gap is about 4.3 seconds, and it is starting to slowly creep down.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if them tires maybe made a little bit mean a little bit more than we thought here because they're just not. Maybe they're just okay with being up here getting some laps led and definitely gained some track position. The 21 was already up there, but the 71 definitely gained some track position. So, if anything, you got yourself up front and out of the pack and out of the mess. So, I still like this move. Maybe these guys, you take 2 tires or as you've seen what these guys did, maybe you still take no tires and keep a little distance?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know we've seen tires matter so much when we first started coming here at Area 51, because obviously, this pave or this repave, was scanned in about, I think, 2000, or well, the repave was done in 2022, and I think it was 2023 before they actually released it in iRacing. So it took a little while to get it in the mix, though we did take, I think, like another year or so before we got it. But ever since the beginning, it was, I mean, the first race that we saw, anybody who took 4 tires was going to win, basically, because there were some people that were gambling with 2. Now that has changed a lot in, as time has gone on. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the updates, how the model for the cars, the aero, the damage, all sorts of stuff can change over time. And we've seen where this kind of a strategy that these 3 front runners are pulling has more of a benefit, but so it's gone back and forth. Tires do matter for sure here more than any other super speedway we go to, and they mattered a lot at the beginning, but it seems to be tapering off just a little bit.
Yeah, but hey, if you're them guys, you're kind of won the lottery right now. Live it up while you got it, and never know how the race is gonna go. But if these guys can manage to get, man, to lap 50, I think with about a second or so lead, I definitely think that's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it comes at the next pit stop. They're actually, that last time, Philip Bridgman was a couple tenths faster than Everett Lane, so we'll check back in the second group here and see how organized they are. They are side by side, but there's really nobody pushing the 9 on the 24 at the moment, and the 5's actually going to come down pit road early, it looks like, or just get out of the way and get to the back of the pack, which is indeed what he's doing. So the 9 and the 98 lead this pack, so that actually gives a little bit more of a gap back to the front runners there. As you see, it's almost 5 seconds now back to Johnson. 31:24 for Philip Bridgman as he crosses the stripe, and Charles Johnson a 31:65. So 4 tenths of a second gained back for our leaders. But once this group gets organized nose to tail, I think that they're going to start chipping away at it a little bit more. But as you mentioned, we are probably about 10 laps away from our next potential green flag pit cycle.
Yeah, and if you're them boys up front, you're glad that they can't get organized. And that little hiccup, they added another second. So it's still been flirting around that 4 second range since Everett and all these guys got back together and those 3 up there. So if I'm them front guys, I'm when we come down to this pit stop, I'm not taking tires again. I'm gonna risk it, and I'm gonna try to put a even more lead. I'm maybe asking those guys up there in the radio because only I believe the front 2 are working together. Man, I'm telling those guys like, hey, I'm coming over race commit. Let's try let's try it again. It's working, and they just can't. To me, just that speed back there behind them is. There just seems like to me they're running about the same pace.
Yeah, the pace is about the same for now. It does help that Jack Walls has been caught by these leaders, so he is now 1 lap down. But obviously the 70, or the 7, the 21, and the 71 all are holding their own more than we expected, at least at the beginning of the pit cycle. But I mean, you can see that gap's still hovering around 5 seconds back to Johnson there in 4th. And I mean, they're in pretty good shape right now. I'm really curious to see. I think at some point they'd need to take tires, so I don't know. I'm curious if these guys don't, if they continue to not take tires or if they flip-flop. And if they flip-flop, is anybody else going to flip as well? If they took tires, not take tires, and vice versa. I don't know if that's kind of the strategy that anybody's thinking, but it's kind of that interesting dynamic. Obviously, in stick and ball sports, you've got the offense or the defense out there for your team, one at a time. Where in racing, every team is out on track, and it's technically individual efforts from everybody, but you can kind of choose whether you want to be on offense or defense based on the strategy you call. Obviously, these guys at the front are more on a defensive strategy, and the guys in the back have more, theoretically more speed with more grip, more tire. But They are more on offense. But I guess Brandon, for you, what's kind of your mindset? What would you prefer to be? Would you rather be attacking on offense, or would you rather be getting that track position and trying to hold it off as much as you can?
Man, if I'm Gael and these guys up front, I keep risking it. I hate to break it to everybody, but Cody and Vicente, they've caught that gap down to 12 seconds. This lead that they had between all this pit stop and everything was up around 18 seconds. Those guys have caught it to 12, and it's still they're the only group right now where I've been watching where it's trending down a little bit. They're starting to cut a little bit off. So if I'm these guys, I take the no tires. I hate to say this because hopefully it's not commentator's curse, but the way this racing's going, I see the yellow tucked away for a little bit, and it's going to come down to teammates and executing. And I'm risking everything. You got the heavy hitters down. You This is where you risk it. This is where you push all your chips in. To me, is I'm risking it here. That this is my chance, especially the 7, the 21 guys new to this league. This is your moment. Try to capitalize on it. So this is where I'm risking it. No tires, rest of the way unless there's a caution.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, this second pack, really kind of jumbled up. There's not a ton of organization here. Obviously, everyone's trying to do what they can to improve their position, but as you see that, they're 5.6 seconds back from the leaders now, and that gap is now growing. Whereas the gap for Cody Nagels, Vicente, and Tom Dixon, and Bob Fitzgerald is staying about the same. So those guys are definitely doing better at chipping away at the leaders, or at least maintaining the pace of the leaders, whereas this pack here, that leader obviously in Charles Johnson just doesn't have the push that he needs right now in order to keep the speed. They lost about 4/10 of a second that last time by.
Yeah, and you can see the intensity starting to pick up back there a little bit. Also, you could see the Dean was starting to push a little bit on that second line. A lot of these drivers are probably just frustrated, just with not just with how the race is going. Man, I want my truck to go faster. Why aren't we catching these guys? A lot of things these guys probably had their vision on tonight has definitely got a wrench thrown into it. And when these things start to pile up, you start to really lose the things that make you focus and do great as a driver. So we're getting ready to hit the halfway point. So these drivers gonna have to flip it and see what they got.
Yeah, you can see on the ticker now as well those lap times that we've been talking about. So Bridgman a 31:453. Johnson runs a 31:417, so evening out. And as they come across the straight, Nagels runs a 31:304, so they're just barely chipping away. They're not quite chipping away at the leaders as much, though the 14, the 16, and the 411 and the 08 are very much chipping away at that second pack. So we'll see how that continues. As we said, that gap to the second pack's about 5.6 seconds now, and then Cody Nagels is down to 1.5 seconds behind our leaders, or 11.5 seconds behind our leaders. And yeah, lap 51, there's got to be a few takers here potentially coming pretty soon.
Yeah, and we see one guy is going to peel off, two guys going to peel off here to come down and make their second stop of the day. But I think the one thing that's really helping that 71 is I I don't know if it's true, but maybe that sponsorship gave him a couple of extra horsepower there on that 71 truck. What you think there, Boom?
Yeah, obviously he's got 4D Racewear on the side of that thing right now, and they've been a big supporter of the league, and obviously one of the sponsors here at Area 51. And Gael's actually going to stay out another lap here as we see the 7 and the 21 coming in this time. And does anybody else in the second group answer the call? Not quite. We'll see if... Oh, yeah, Paul Turner is in. So Phil Bridgman, William Roberts, Paul Witt is down. Paul Turner is down, and the rest pitted the previous time. So we'll see if Gael comes in this time or if he waits another lap.
Yep, he's going to bring it down this time and got that bonus point for leading the lap. Believe he missed last Friday with the dance for his daughter, so I'm unable to make the show, but making it pay here tonight is we're going to see a couple more guys bring it down along with Everett Lane. Looks like Gary Huffine. And maybe the 714, I think that was. Could be mistaken along with the
Yep.
00.
Doug Webb and Fitzgerald coming down with that's the Team Bootnaka group. So Dean Wilkinson and Austin McCarthy are going to stay out on track. The only two that have not pitted yet. and they come down this time by. So Gael is now being passed by Everett Lane as they get into their pit stall, but Gael should be able to come out here. And it looks like he did take tires, so 4 tires and fuel for the 71 that time. Philip Bridgman and William Roberts took right side tires only, which is about a 3-second difference, and we'll see where that nets out. Bud Steele, who had that pit road speeding penalty, he is a lap down, but he is going to be with that 71. So you got a teammate there to help him get back going again as he's passed by the 7 and the 21 here. And then Austin McCarthy comes down pit road as well as Dean Wilkinson. So Philip Bridgman and William Roberts here. Just the 2-pack for now. Gael is about 1.7 seconds back. That gap is growing, but Charles Johnson is catching the rear bumper of Gael. Everett Lane's about 2.5 seconds back of that party. Gary Huffines about 0.6 off the rear bumper of Lane. Then we go back about 2 seconds to Paul Witt, who has Robert Rock in tow. And then this is Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, and Paul Turner. So at this point, we're looking at the ticker, and Nagels and Guerrero under 9 seconds behind the lead. Remember, as you mentioned earlier, Brandon, that gap was 18 seconds at one point. So they have really cut away at that gap.
Yeah, them guys are hauling, and now they got about 5 trucks in that pack, and that's I can't I shouldn't say I can't believe it because I've seen that team do all types of sorts of things. Vicente last year at Talladega was sideways, managed to save it, come back and win the race. I mean, Cody Nagels halfway, the car, I believe the car at one time was facing the other way, somehow saved it. So these guys are absolute wheelmen, and now they got a challenge ahead of them. That we got 44 laps to go, and these guys are on a mission. So I'm shocked to see Gael go off strategy and take the 4. They're gonna end up catching them, but I could not. I figured he was gonna take the no tires and keep that strategy going. But as you can see, they still have quite a bit of a lead to that big pack. It looks like Everett Lane's 6 seconds or so back.
Yeah, so why don't we go through that a little bit here and see if we can get a good glimpse of what everybody's doing. So we'll bring in the new tools that we have and show the, not that one. Yeah, still working out some of the new fanciness. Here we go. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for the car image. There's one other thing I'm still trying to figure out. Obviously, we've got some cool, here we go, driver details. So, Philip Bridgman there currently first from Ontario in that number 7 truck. And excuse the paint schemes aren't matching. Looks like Trading Paints has not updated on me. But nonetheless, obviously, Philip Bridgman currently leading. William Roberts there in that 21 truck. He is in 2nd place right now and having a good showing so far. These guys took 2 tires on the 2nd pit stop, but took fuel only on the 1st. Dean Wilkinson flipped that script. He's in 3rd for TW Motorsports. He pitted for just fuel only this time by Gael Brooks, now 1.2 seconds back. He's got the 6 of Bud Steele, who's a lap car ahead of him, but he has the 9 of Charles Johnson currently in 5th just behind him there, and they are catching our leaders by a couple tenths a lap. Running about the same speeds is this group here back in 6th. That's Everett Lane in the number 24. And then Gary Huffines just behind him, currently in the 7th position out of Tell City, Indiana, in that number 98 truck. Paul Witt's working there in that number 429 from Fraser, Michigan. Paul Witt, Gary Huffines trade spots there. We go back to Cody Nagels here in that number 16, holding it down for Missouri. Ooh, the 98 goes for a little bit of a slide, but is going to be able to continue on. Cody Nagels here. Vicente Guerrero again coming back from a 18-second deficit after Cody having to start on pit road and the 14 having a little bit of a netcode issue at the beginning of the race, and that gets a little tight on the outside lane there for the 429 and the 24. But they keep rolling here. We're going to go back to 10th place, and that is going to be the 5 of Paul Turner out there in California. We're going to go back to the first winner of the season. That's Robert Rock, currently 11th there from North Carolina. And we've got Gary Huffine still rolling there um, after a little bit of a slide. And Doug Webb here we see from Oklahoma. He's in 13th position in that number 714. Bob Fitzgerald back to 14th place in the 08. Tom Dixon just behind him there for TW Motorsports, all the way down in St. Augustine, Florida. Then we go back to Jack Walls in the 16th position, first car one lap down in this lead pack. As you've seen, some of these drivers are starting to catch up, and so Jack Walls there out of Delaware, always running the Delaware University of Delaware colors, and some form or another, and always has some really good-looking paint schemes. Austin McCarthy there. He has it'd be scored as the number 3, but obviously you see the paint scheme shows 9. He is one lap down, started with some connection issues earlier on, but we continue moving forward and actually moving backward as we go through the field to finish out. Another North Carolina entry for Thomas Holder in that 00 all by himself, and he is in danger of going 2 laps down, where Bud Steele is 2 laps down, but he is with this lead pack here, which takes us all the way back to William Roberts. So not entirely sure what happened as we went through the field there, but we saw the 21 and the 7 get separated. Dean Wilkinson, Gael Brooks, and Charles Johnson have caught up. Philip Bridgman has actually lost this pack, and he is now in the 5th position, and he's going to get back to Paul Witt in this group here, who is running from 6th to about 11th in this pack here.
Yeah, and how about that? Not only is he fast on Fridays running 4th right now, but he's a heck of a guy behind the scenes. Mr. Gael Brooks busted his butt all off season, got us a bunch of new stuff to mess with, and it's awesome. This stuff is awesome. I remember the first night we debuted the new setup here, and I was like, man, this right here. This is top of the line. So thanks again to the 71 of hooking us up and making our job a little bit easier up here. It's always nice for that. So hopefully you can get it done up here as this front group still putting what is that, about 5 seconds. They've knocked it down a little bit back there, but still got quite themselves a gap. And now if you're that back group and if you're listening to the broadcast, maybe they say, hey, them guys still up there taking no tires. So it's definitely, I think, for everybody on this last stop, a no tires.
Yeah, so the ones who've benefited the most, Gael Brooks and Paul Witt. Paul is leading that second pack, as you remember, from 5th to about 11th, and they took 4 tires. Gael took 4. William Roberts took right sides, and I can't remember exactly, but I think Dean Wilkinson and Charles Johnson flipped a script and just went fuel only after taking tires on the first stop. So it's kind of a pretty even field as far as what's happened on pit road. Though, I mean, the real big advantage again to Gael there with 4 fresh tires at the moment. Paul Witt also about 4.5 seconds behind our leaders with 4 fresh tires as well. Then you got to go all the way back to Paul Turner, Robert Rock, and Philip Bridgman. Actually, no, sorry. Just Paul Turner and Robert Rock for the freshest tires. Doug Webb also took tires in that last pit stop, and so did Bob Fitzgerald and Tom Dixon. Obviously, they find themselves a little bit further back in the field, though. So William Roberts is your leader. The 83 and the 6 are gaining a lap back each, which puts the 83 tail end of the lead lap and puts Bud Steele tail end of 1 lap down at the moment. So they would get a lap back should a caution come out. And as of right now, Austin McCarthy would be your lucky dog.
Yeah, I tell you who the lucky dog right now is, and that's them fellas in that 16 and that 14. I'm still watching the ticker, and since we brought it up, 18 seconds each pit stop in the intervals, they have knocked off 4.5 to 5 seconds each segment of pit stops. Just each stop, boom, just cutting it down, cutting it down. If that is this on track for that, these guys will be at the front of the pack by the time the white flag is in the air. And I'm telling you what, there will be some fireworks up there if them boys make it to the front. This is what Area 51 is. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And you got to race here, normally 75, but here at Atlanta, we run 100. So luckily for them, we do run 100 instead of 75 because that gives them a chance to get right back in it with no caution. Just a testament to them drivers and their will to stay focused and stay committed. So This this second pack back here, they're on a mission.
Yeah, that's definitely quite impressive from those guys. Obviously, for Cody, starting from the pits and the 14 involved with Jack Walls in the first lap incident there, but they are about 2/10 of a second faster than William Roberts, Dean Wilkinson, that crew at the moment. So they're still gaining a little bit, little by little. Obviously, the 429 is leading there, getting good pushes from the 16 and the 14, and this group potentially it has the potential for sure to be able to catch up to our leaders there, and we'll see if anybody can separate themselves, if the 14 and the 16 can jump up there and try to leave anybody behind and continue that execution that we've seen that's oh so important here at Superspeedway Racing on pit stops, which should be another 3 to 5 laps away.
Yeah, boom. Can you imagine sitting in that 21 truck right now, leading this race, thinking, man, I've been doing pretty good. I've executed my pit stops. But then you ever get that feeling somebody's like trying to catch you from like they're behind, you know, somebody's behind you. You don't want to look. You're like, man, I'm focused, but I know somebody's behind me. That's got to be what them guys are thinking up there right now because they have the same oh no, we're gonna have a little bit of contact here. Oh, it's gonna mix up this front group. Able to save it. Everybody's going to be all right. That second group is now going to catch a lot quicker. If William Roberts wasn't looking in his mirror, he definitely is now. This second pack is going to catch them in a hurry. If I'm this front group right now, 26 laps to go, we was told 26, I pit now. Come in, get your tires. You've already made the mistake. Cut as lost as you can. They're going to keep it going, but I would have pitted there. Boom.
Yeah, I think 26, it's close. Definitely the window is open. I think a lot of these guys have a few more laps to go for an insurance policy. You know, it's definitely, sometimes it's better when you do see a mistake like that to just get down pit road, but I don't necessarily blame them. I mean, I think it would have been a good opportunity, as you mentioned, but it would definitely have been a little tighter than probably they would be comfortable with. Most of the drivers pitting on lap 52, 54, and I think it's going to be another lap or two before we actually see anybody come down.
Yeah, and it's man, hopefully they can stay together and maybe they're saying, "Hey, I stay out. Maybe I got some teammates in that second pack. Maybe I want to wait for those guys now that they're able to get here." And as I say that, the ticker starts to head the other way as that front group. Maybe not. Maybe it's still floating right there on the bubble.
Yeah, they were about a tenth of a lap faster, actually, the leaders that time by over Paul Witt. So that gap is stabilized now that the 6 and the 83 are at the back end of the 6-car pack. 4 cars in the lead lap, a lap or 2 laps down here. And then from 5th place all the way back to 11th, these guys are about 2.5 seconds back. And then a whole slew of smaller packs broken up throughout the rest of the field here. 23 laps to go, so now the window is open. Are there going to be any takers this time by? We'll watch as they come through. And yes, Jack Walls and the 6 and 9 and the 71 are all going to come down this time by. Actually, yeah, no, excuse me. William Roberts and Gael stay out, but the 9 and the 55 come in. The 5 is going to stay out, go around. Paul Witt, Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero are also going to come in this second pack as well. And Paul Witt in the 429 gets down. See if the 16 got down to pit road speed. Some of the boot knockers are coming down too. Everett Lane is in. Philip Bridgman is down as well. And then Bob Fitzgerald and Tom Dixon are going to come in. Ooh, a little bit of a slide for Tom Dixon. We'll see if he got down to pit road speed in time or not. Thomas Holder is going to come down with that group as well. And that's going to be the 21 and the 71 coming down this time by. And Paul Turner, Doug Webb, and Gary Huffine. So everybody pitting within a 2-lap window here for the final pit stop, that money stop.
Yeah, now it's going to be wait and see who did pick pit road snab. You know, a lot of those guys, they locked them up. It was very, very close. It's going to be tough to see as we're going to see Dean Wilkinson here. He's going to get back at the speed, a 2-car pack right here. Right now it is showing the 714 of Doug Webb leading with Gael Brooks second. Don't know exactly where these guys are going to filter out when this is all done, but that is going to put our co-commentator leading at the top of the leaderboard right now.
Yeah, so we see Gael coming out of pits through turns 1 and 2 at the moment here, and the 55 and the 9 at speed are going to pass him. And I don't know if the 71's going to have an opportunity to catch up to him unless he can join up with a larger group behind him. But so Dean and Charles come out looking pretty. I mean, pretty good. They're about 2 seconds ahead of Gael. Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero now here are lined up pretty good and coming to the front. Paul Turner, William Roberts, Robert Rock, Philip Bridgman, that group should all be linked together. So that's the top 9. Gary Huffines is a few seconds back, about 6 seconds off the rear bumper of Bridgman. And then he's got Everett Lane. He also has the lap car of Austin McCarthy. Bob Fitzgerald and Tom Dixon about 16 seconds behind that party. And you go back another 10 seconds or so to find Jack Walls and Bud Steele, both lap cars. So as of right now, it's Dean Wilkinson and Charles Johnson nose to tail for the lead. 19 laps to go. Gael Brooks is still on an island by himself, but he will be caught by this pack of Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, and company very shortly.
Yeah, boom. We got to witness some of the most spectacular pit entrants last season by Dean Pit Stop Wilkinson. And when it comes down to it, to a race like this here at Atlanta, where it's going to come down to pit execution, we should have known the 55 was going to make his way to the front. I mean, we seen so many times last season where I was like, "Yep, that's a penalty." There ain't no way for me driving. I would have definitely got a penalty. Dean, not so much. He knows how to execute. He's practiced so much at it. He's told us how much that not only him but that team has practiced at it, and here we see it paying off as him and Charles Johnson has now grown up to a almost a 4.5 second lead, as those are doing pretty good, as they got now Thomas Holder along with that pack up there.
Yeah, so they do have the lap car with him, or with them, I should say. The 55 and the 9 are working together tonight. And yeah, definitely a fairly comfortable lead at the moment. They did have about 3/10 taken away that last time by this group here. Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, Paul Turner, William Roberts, Robert Rock, Philip Bridgman, and now Gael Brooks is going to tuck into the tail end of this pack here. And these guys are probably the only ones that will have an opportunity if it does go green all the way to the end, but they're going to have to still continue to erase that deficit. And we'll switch now back to the last time where you can see that the Cody Nagels machine runs about a tenth and a half or so faster than Dean Wilkinson. We'll see how that updates as they cross the stripe once again. And as they come back around, they'll be working on lap number 15.
Yeah, and what a just a heck of a run by these guys, and to battle back, and not only that, but to find each other. To get to find your teammate in a situation like this when all that chaos had broke out, and to be able to stick to it, man. That's just a heck of a job to these guys up here. Give the flowers where it's due. It's not over yet, but with watching the ticker, it's just, man, it's going to be asking a lot for those guys back here, especially in this third truck. So. If they're gonna do it, we said earlier, they'll get there right about the white flag. So, as boxing says, the 12th round is the one that matters the most.
Yeah, we'll see. It was his 10th that last lap, so a 31:36 as it updates across the stripe for Nagels, a 31:18, so about just under 2/10 there. And man, they are quickly running out of time to get to that pack here. You see the gaps now. We pull back up. Cody Nagels 3.8 back, and they're going to need to make a decent amount of headway, more than a couple tenths a lap, and if they're going to want to be up there. But the saving grace would be if they could get within about a second. They'll probably get a little bit of a draft off the rear bumper of Thomas Holder and be able to catch a little bit faster at that point, but they've got to get there at least, and 13 laps to go is not a lot of time. If they keep clicking off a tenth or two, they're only going to make up, up to 2.5 seconds, so it's going to have to be bigger chunks than what they're taking right now.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're catching a group right in front of them, so that's also going to give Dean a little bit more speed. And we can just pay it if we could just stay locked on here for a second. Look at Charles; these guys got a good lead. He's not getting conservative. He's raced in Area 51 long enough. He knows who are in them trucks behind him. If you let off and give those guys any bit of a chance, they're gonna make you pay for it. So we can see him. He's gonna as here he's letting his truck cool off a little bit, but we can just see how close he stayed to the 55. And then also respect to the 00, understand what's in front of him, not trying to do too much, making sure his truck is right there. But this gets about as smooth as it can get for these 3 trucks up here as the double zero is just staying about as close as he can, and the 9 is just still pushing Dean for everything.
2 tenths or so that last lap, 2 tenths the previous lap. Again, it wouldn't be enough with 11 laps to go to make up the entire deficit. They're going to have to be taking at least a third of a tenth a lap to get to our leaders. And it looks like time is slowly starting to run out, but that is what the 55 and the 9 trucks are hopeful for, as they executed that last pit stop the best. And it looks like just about everybody taking fuel only. William Roberts did take right sides. Everett Lane took 4. Bob Fitzgerald, Tom Dixon, Jack Walls took 4. But pretty much everybody else in the field, fuel only. And we will see if that gap can remain enough for the 55 and the 9 to set sail and come home victorious in 10 laps time.
Yeah, and what a bonus this would be for Dean. He's only ran 1 race out of the 2 so far. This would be his second of the 3, and didn't have the run that he wanted in the race that he did participate. So not exact where he wants to be in the points at any stands this early, but this would definitely help turn his season around and get it on the right foot if these guys can finish out. So Charles Johnson also same thing. He was right there in the mix in the playoffs last year. Couldn't make all the races. Was kind enough to give his spot up. So but kind of like a redemption season here for the 9. So these guys right here just going to come to 8 laps to go, finish strong, and not make any mistakes. As they're going to catch this draft of these trucks up here, it's going to help them.
Yeah, that's going to help them for sure. And it looks like that gap actually growing slightly there for a second as we see actually a tenth back to the leaders. So Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson get a tenth back from Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero. We'll check back there and see if we can understand why that happened. But yeah, not entirely sure because they still are pretty organized coming into turn 3 at the moment. So we'll see as it updates again. But yeah, they gained about a tenth back that last lap. The 55 and the 9 definitely getting some help from the cars in front of them, just a little bit of draft there. And I think that's really isn't the sole reason that they are able to be that far ahead. I mean, obviously it was the pit cycle, but that does help minimize some of that gap that's closing, as now Cody Nagels gets to under 3 seconds, just about 3.01, under 3 seconds in the 2-second category now, and we'll see what the difference is in the lap times as we get 6 laps to go here. A 31:40 for Dean Wilkinson and a 31:06 for Cody Nagels, so almost 3/10 of a second, and actually over 3/10. And man, is it too little too late? There's going to be 5 laps to go at the line, 7.5 miles left in this race.
Yeah, it's definitely like you said, it's gonna be a tough haul. They're really starting to cut into it here late, but man, it's gonna be a heck of a go. I wonder if them guys maybe had a little bit of fuel on their mind. It was a little tight there. Some guys started pitting, so everybody started to peel off. But little race recap, we keep bouncing, back and forth about the 16 and those guys. At the beginning, we had a hiccup. The 14 ended up losing the pack. Cody Nagels was not in the truck at the start of the grid, so he had to start in the pits and those guys started as basically you could say half a track or more down, and has been able to battle back to at least get those trucks to third and fourth. And if you're those guys, even if that's where you finish, that's a win tonight. To battle back and even be in the hunt for it. So still hats off, even if those guys don't get there tonight.
Less than 6 miles to go, 4 laps, and it's down to 2.3 seconds, but they're still going to have to keep chipping away more and more if they want to even get there. And that time is running out. It'll be 3 at the stripe this time by the 55 and the 9, taking fuel only on that final pit stop. And I really don't see a big difference in the pit times between where the 55 and the 9, pit times for them versus Cody Nagels and Vicente, and their time on pit road was pretty similar. I mean, Dean Wilkinson was about a half a second faster between the cones than Cody Nagels. So if they did gain a lot of time, it must have been either on the access, basically the access road, either for pit in or pit out on the apron there. So, I mean, a wonderful execution for those guys, and 2 laps to go. It looks like they're in really, really great shape at the moment.
Yeah, you got to finish. The truck's going to be a little bit of different. I've noticed a little bit more. We talk about the air. So, Dean's going to get a good run here. Charles, there's going to be a lot of communication. You gotta be smooth when you make this pass and not put those guys that you're gonna pass in a weird position for them to make mistakes. So I'm almost right here. If I'm the 55, it looks like maybe they're gonna go up. Try to maybe just stay behind them here. I don't wanna wreck it trying to pass a lap car.
We're going to come to the white flag, and it's going to be Dean Wilkinson taking it. The 9 of Charles Johnson behind him. Do they try to race each other back to the line as the 55 is going to be underneath the 411 down the back straightaway? Bob Fitzgerald goes high, and these guys are coming down the back straightaway. Teammates lined up nose to tail. The execution on the final pit stop. They've just got to make it through one more corner, and they will secure the 1-2 finish. It will be Dean Wilkinson out of 4 through the tri-oval. Checkered flag in the air. Race win for Dean.
Heck yeah, good job, Dean Wilkinson. Gonna pick up win number 5 here on Friday nights with Area 51. Charles Johnson second, Cody Nagels third, Vicente Guerrero fifth, and Will Roberts, after his run tonight, is gonna finish in the top 5.
Yeah, a good effort for the 21 there. And we'll actually go through the rest of those results here as we'll show in just a moment. So we'll take the tower away. We'll bring the full race results in. And you'll see at the top of it, it will be TW Motorsports Dean Wilkinson. And he's going to come home with a solid victory here tonight. The Charles Johnson number 9 machine, also for TW Motorsports, so they get the 1-2. Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero have a great recovery all the way back up to 3rd and 4th place. William Roberts had a very strong showing for tonight. Paul Turner was on a little bit of an offset strategy at some points, but I mean was there when it counted the most, and was still able to be in that second pack at least. Obviously, the leaders of the 55 and the 9 had kind of broken away towards the end of it. Robert Rock, a solid top 10 for him after winning the first race of the season. Then Philip Bridgman there lost the draft of the 71, but got back into the same pack. Obviously, those two guys working together pretty well tonight. And then you see the number 9th place entry of Gael Brooks. That's number 71. And he came in one lap later than the 55 and the 9, and they just came down pit road so at such a great level, and Guile didn't have too much help, so he had to fall back to that next group there. But you see Everett Lane, he's actually going to round out the top 10, and Gary Huffines in 11th place. And then all our lap down cars, starting with Tom Dixon and Bob Fitzgerald, they were actually lapped there on that final lap. Jack Walls is further back. Austin McCarthy spent a decent amount of time a lap down after some internet issues at the beginning, and then we saw Doug Webb with some penalties. He came down 2 laps, or went 2 laps down to the finish there. Thomas Holder also 2 laps down. I believe he was involved with some pit road penalties, and then Bud Steele actually had a penalty on the very first pit cycle, and that put him in a hole for pretty much the rest of the night. But yeah, a good clean and green all the way to the end finish here for this race tonight, and that gives us now the opportunity. We've got a couple people that we get to talk to at this point, so we'll bring that first one in here, and that is going to be the 16 of Cody Nagels. And man, Cody, after starting on pit road, we were not expecting to see you come through the field so quickly. So it was, I mean, it was a calculated charge, but you guys were able to slowly march through that field and get to a point where, you could be up there and in the running for it.
Yeah. Um my headset I guess died on me and I had to like switch my sound settings, and I guess the second that I got out of my car, I seen we were advancing to start going and it said I missed grid. And my luck, we go wire to wire. But I did not change right side tires that entire race, and it was a handful. But Uh, I don't think I've ever been so disappointed in the third place in my life because I thought for sure we were going to catch them, but I think they caught the lap cars and the lap traffic at the perfect time, and we ran out of laps. That's all there was.
Yeah, a tough break to start the race, but battled back very, very well. Hats off to you in the 14. I mean, I told Boom, man, that's kind of a win to do what you guys done. I know you won't look at it that way, but knowing what you know now and how the trucks you've seen it through a couple of tracks, when we come back here in the next couple times, especially playoffs, is now this something in your mind? Like, can you drive this truck like some of these guys did, no tires the whole time, and build that gap?
Um, yeah, yeah, I think I can anyway, but it depends if you can take care of tires in the race because tires matter. Um, I think after the last pit stop, I had 78 on the right front left. Vince was down to 66. But granted, I ran a lot more clean air than he did. But how you drive it does matter. But Vince, for having a right front that was bald, he did really, really good. Um, but you got to be really careful how you drive it. But I really want this race to do back, or I want to run it back. Uh, I just hate that I didn't have a chance to be in the lead pack off the start because I'd like to think the outcome would have been a little different, but I guess we'll only know the next time we come back here. So, you know, we did what we could. We ran out of laps, but uh, I am happy. It was kind of fortunate for me in a way that Vince spun, but at the same time, I guess it was fortunate that me and him were able to get connected in the sense where, he spun and I had a mishap to start the race. So it put us right together and we had the whole race to run everyone down. And he tried to get Jack to get like caught up with us really quick because if he would have done that, I think we would have had the pack. But Jack decided to run solo laps around the track instead of running with me and Vince because I backed up to Vince, and I think Vince was hoping that Jack would back up to us and we could get up to speed quicker. But we lost a little bit of time there, and we never were fully able to get to the lead guys. So P3 and P4, I guess.
Yeah, I know that's. I mean, obviously, definitely frustrating. I mean, especially for the equipment issues, and definitely a saving grace with the 14 having the contact early on. I mean, it seems like you guys had a really good opportunity at least to get back up there, and I mean, hats off to you guys for how much of a hole you climbed out of. We talked about it. It was 18 seconds at one point, I think, was the deficit to the leaders, and it was probably more, as soon as it happened. And as we were starting to watch it, you guys were climbing through, and for us, that was, I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch. I know that it's definitely a little more frustrating. It seems to have known that you could have done pretty well coming from that far from behind, but I mean, it was definitely a valiant effort, and I mean, I think there's still plenty to be happy about with how far you guys came up through the field.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we definitely nothing to be too upset about. Um, on to next week. I think our team has shown some speed in the early portion of the season, and even though we didn't get this one, I think we have a few wins still in our back pocket. We work really well together. Paul had a speeding on pit road. He had a speeding and a unsafe entry, unfortunately, but outside of that, we've really stayed connected this whole season, and it's made a difference with three of us when we can stay connected. And it seems like we've been able to do about whatever we want to as long as we're able to coordinate the pit stops, which is everything in a league where everyone runs clean and there's a lot of green flag pit stops. And it really matters how quick you are on and off a pit road and also how you can drive the truck on a track like Atlanta where tires do matter, and it does put it a little bit more in the driver's hands. So I do think that bodes pretty well for us, and it really has been a good start to the season. So hats off to the team for the first 3 weeks.
Well, we'll get a GoFundMe started to get you a charging cable there for your headset, or maybe some new rechargeable batteries, so you don't have the issue happen again. But nonetheless, still exciting to see, at least from our perspective, to see you guys climb through the field like that, and we'll roll that red carpet out, give you any chance for thanks or shoutouts for the third place finish tonight after starting on pit road.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I want to thank Charles and the admins for putting on the league. And all the credit goes to Vince and Paul for the success we've had so far this season. And also can't do it without the good Lord above. Again, it's a really fun league. I enjoy being around, and a lot of clean drivers in here. And it's going to be think it's going to be a fun season because with these car counts, green flag pit stops absolutely can make or break your season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we've gone wire to wire a couple times now, and it's been almost we've had a caution on Friday nights, so it's always exciting to see that and all the great racing. But so congratulations again to you, Cody, and hopefully get a chance to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, let's move on to our second place finisher, and that is going to be the number 9 of Charles Johnson. You see there, he started 13th, and him and Dean Wilkinson working together with that pit road execution all the way to the end, puts them ahead and gives them the opportunity to coast on to the win. Definitely a very solid effort and really great execution from you guys on pit road all night long.
Yeah, 10-4. That old Cody guy, he just got his butt spanked tonight, didn't
Yeah, a little bit after starting on pit road. Looks like he, has get to come back a little bit there, but has to come, settle for third at least. But man, you guys had a pretty good effort there tonight.
he? Yeah, Cody's a hell of a driver, man. I have a lot of respect for him. I just messing with him there a little bit. Uh, if you beat him in any of these super speedway races, you've accomplished something. So yeah, it was a fun race tonight. Caution free, I believe too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Charles, I'm gonna man. There for a second, I thought we were getting to my type of interview, but I'm gonna ask you. You drove a lot of these trucks over the seasons here at Area 51, and tonight it looked like the second group. Cody, them guys there at the end really made the charge to cut down the lead. But what do you see different in these trucks that really is making it harder for that second group really to catch up to the lead group?
Yeah, it's just Atlanta, and you really got to manage your tires here, especially the right front. The right front gets to wearing, and that truck wants to push. So it's all about that right front tire management and having a teammate. Always got to have a teammate in any of these super speed races, or you're not going to be able to maintain. But we had one of the guys from Roswell helping us there at the end too, and that helped out a lot. It helped us maintain the gap for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you were looking pretty good towards the end there, obviously staying in the lead pack for pretty much most of the race. And obviously, when you came off of pit road, was that the point where you kind of knew like, hey, we've got a shot at this, or was it later or sooner when you guys realized, hey, we're gonna break away from these guys and we might do this thing?
Well, here's what I thought. We took four tires the first pit stop, and we knew that the front runners only took two, and so we were measuring our time between them, and they gained on us. They outrun us with two tires about 3 to 4 tenths in that fuel run. And we was like, okay, we're taking two tires the rest of the race, and we're just going to see if we can beat them on and off pit road. And that's what we were able to do, and then just stay together. And of course, we had the draft of those three or four running in front of us, and the guy behind us helping us as well. So we we did a really good job there with Dean and maintaining that gap to the finish line.
Yeah, I mean incredible strategy. Changing your execution there. Obviously, you saw from what we could tell in the booth, it looked like they may have actually even taken fuel only. Usually, when you take right sides, I believe it's about a 10-second pit stop, and they were closer to like 8.5 seconds. But that was the 21, the 7, and then obviously Guy Brooks in the 71 as well. But I mean, yeah, we saw that you guys rejoined that lead pack after the second pit stop and saw that it was a little bit of a flip flop. So obviously that explains now. It looks like you guys changed your strategy up. But at that point, were you just kind of committed to not taking any tires for the rest of the race, pretty much?
Oh, we were just doing left sides, just left side tires because 9.5 gallons and it takes around 8.6, I believe it is, for the left side tires. So you still got to wait on fuel for a
Okay.
second and a half. So it worked out great. We just took left sides the rest of the race, and we were pretty aggressive getting on and off pit road, as aggressive as you can be when you got to get down to 45 miles an hour. But I think that was what did it for us really, is the pit stops and how fast we were able to get on and off the pit road.
Yeah, we noticed that after the final pit stop, we saw, I mean, I was looking at the lap times, I was looking at the pit stop times. I mean, you had a 8.52-second pit stop for your last one. Or sorry, you were 8.48, Dean was 8.52, Cody was 8.7, Vicente was 8.53, and the time on pit road, you guys were all within a half a second, from cone to cone from what we can see. And if that's the case, when you guys came out that much further ahead, obviously it would have had to been on the access road or the apron, in and out of pit lanes. So, I mean, definitely, props to you and Dean. Obviously, helps to have a teammate when you can run at, a high level and execute, especially the pit stops at a high level. But obviously, I know you guys, you especially do a lot here. So we appreciate, all that you do to keep all the stuff here running at Area 51. And we'll give you a chance now, roll out that red carpet for any thanks or shout outs for that second place. Well, 1-2 finish for the team, but that second place for yourself as well.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to you and Brandon Boomer and Gael as well for all they do. Bud does a lot of work in the background that everyone doesn't see, but Bud's a huge help to us as well. So thanks to Bud for that. And a shout out to my teammates. I don't know if you guys noticed, but that lead pack in front of us was a couple of our teammates, and they were falling back and letting us get a draft so we could maintain that gap between third and fourth back there. So appreciate that to my teammates. It's always good when the teammates work together. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you have a group of good guys working together to try to finish the races as far up as you can. And thanks to all the drivers for coming out and racing with us. Good, clean race tonight. And it has been clean racing the entire season this season. So thanks to the drivers for putting on a good show. And one last thing, thanks to all the guys and ladies and gentlemen who come out and watch the races on our YouTube channel. We appreciate it, and we hope we're giving you something that is entertaining and that you enjoy watching. And for that, I'll turn it over to Dean. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Charles. Congratulations for tonight.
Yep, thank you.
All right, he teed it up for us. We've got Dean Wilkinson now in the booth. Your teammate just gave his thanks and shoutouts and cued it over to you. And obviously, a really solid finish for you guys tonight. Obviously starting fourth, and we talked about a little bit of the pit stop and the execution with Charles already. But take us through from your vantage point there, Dean. How'd you get up to the front there, and how'd you win this race?
Well, first I want to give kudos to Vincent and Cody. That's crazy. Starting from the pits in third and fourth, good for them. I mean, yeah, I was getting worried there for a second. Last 10 laps, thinking, okay, we got to keep it steady, keep these tires, keep this truck on the track because they're going to catch us. But anyway, kudos to them. Pit stops really, yeah, clean, fast pit stops is, I think, what does it at this track or with this group of drivers. So. And yeah.
I mean, I've done gave you the nickname. We brought it up as you were clocking off laps up there leading. Is that last season you put on some of the most spectacular shows with the pit stop and getting there and making sure you got down to speed. And I was telling Boom, why did we not think of Dean? Dean, this is him, Mr. Pit Stop, this race. And once again, this isn't the first time you've done this. You've done this a couple of times now here at Atlanta. How do you keep doing this over and over and over?
Well, there's a bit of luck there. That second to last pit stop, I was 4 miles an hour over, and I was able to get it down by 10 quickly, which I guess leveled it out. But my teammate Austin behind me, he got nailed. So yeah, I got, sometimes you're lucky, and I got lucky that time. But yep, just practice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked to Charles and we mentioned it on the broadcast, but we saw that the pit stop times and the time that we can see between cones, during pit speed limits was about the same between you guys and Cody and Vicente, and so obviously gained all of it on the apron there, but. I mean, at what point did you realize that you guys, and I know you said you're kind of looking in the rear view mirror, looking at the time, seeing Cody and Vicente come through the field there, but at what point were you realizing like, hey, we've got a really good shot at this, and this might be ours to lose here at this point?
Couple laps after the last pit stop, when I didn't see anybody behind us for a half a lap, and I was kind of shocked by that because I didn't realize we had gotten so far ahead. Um, but then and then seeing Cody and Vince coming 3 seconds behind, 2 seconds behind. So I'd say it was a couple laps after the last pit stop. I felt pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you guys were, pretty much there all along. Charles took us through the flip and the pit strategy where you guys saw, leaders take, either two tires or fuel only or whatever at the beginning, and you guys kind of switched that strategy and kind of never looked back. But yeah, I mean, it's got to feel good to get a victory here. And yeah, we'll turn it over to you now. We'll throw that red carpet out for any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give for that race win here tonight, Dean.
Yeah, well, I definitely needed it because I think I'm dead last. I had a bad first race at Talladega, and then I missed last week's race. So I want to thank you guys for the broadcast. Always enjoyed it. I'm going to go back and watch it there later on tonight. Thanks to my teammates, Charles and that 00 for helping us out. Uh, Thanks to Area 51. Always fun to race here with Area 51. And again, can't have a good race without good drivers. So I appreciate all the other drivers coming out. And thanks for the rest of the teammates. Again, like Charles said, those guys in front that were I think we ended up lapping them, but they helped us out keeping that distance between Cody and Vince. And yeah, thanks for TW Motorsports. And again, kudos to Cody and Vince. Yeah, that was a great job those guys did.
Yeah, that was definitely fun to watch, and when you go back in the broadcast, it'll be enjoyable to see as well. But you'll also see yourself cross the finish line first, and if my math is correct, I believe that's win number 17 for you here in league racing. Actually, I'll double check with Area 51 specifically, so that should actually be win number 11 in Area 51. So congratulations to you, Dean, and hopefully you get a chance to celebrate this one a little bit tonight.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, you guys have a good night. Stay warm if you're anywhere where it's going to be effing cold where it's like up here.
Yeah, I'm in Middle Tennessee, so we're looking forward to maybe a couple inches of ice, maybe a foot of snow. No idea, but we'll figure it out as we go. So, but yeah, you guys stay warm and congratulations again.
Excellent. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Alrighty, well, yeah, a really, really great race for the TW Motorsports team. Obviously, Dean Wilkinson and Charles Johnson coming home 1-2, and appreciate all that everybody does here at Area 51. I mean, green flag racing for all the way to the end at a super speedway. You don't really see that very often especially not in official series racing. So it's very impressive to go wire to wire. And I mean, we've done it a few times now already this season. Obviously, we had the one caution early in the first race of the season 2 weeks ago, but since then, I don't think we've had a single caution on Friday nights here, Brandon.
Yeah, and it's the test of these drivers, man. We've seen them at Daytona where it's narrow. We've seen them at Talladega where it's real wide and they can go 3, 4 wide. And now we've seen them at Atlanta. A little hiccup there on the start, but them guys battled back. So I think what this does now is we talked about early in the race. A lot of people I think padded their notebook leaving here, and I think when we come back here in just a couple weeks, I think we're gonna see the aggression pick up. Guys understanding that you can lose the front guys without even knowing it. So I think that's going to pick up the intensity. I think it's going to make teammates reach out to them guys, maybe get a little bit more practice, and it's only going to make the racing more exciting for us up here.
Yeah, and I know, we talked about it when we first started coming here, we saw a lot of tire wear, and it just doesn't seem to be happening nearly as much. We saw a lot of guys holding the field off with just two tires, and a really great effort from a lot of drivers. Obviously, the execution from Dean Wilkinson and Charles Johnson, and I know they both mentioned it, but obviously, little dejected in his interview. But I mean, Cody and Vicente absolutely came through the field, and that was pretty impressive to see what they could do. I know that that's honestly, as a racer myself, I know that that also means like, man, I probably, you're thinking, well, what would have happened if I would have been, with the lead pack as it started? But obviously, him and Vicente plenty to hang their hats on for tonight, and a really good points night for themselves as well. So to dig out of a hole like that is pretty impressive. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to see these guys do battle, and we'll be getting to do that again soon. We've got a couple, obviously, quite a few more races already on the schedule, so I'll pull up the Friday night schedule here. So obviously Atlanta tonight. So we're going to go to Talladega on January 30th. Then we'll go to Daytona on February 6th and Atlanta again on February 13th. So we've got a couple weeks of action packed and ready to go. It'll be quite a while actually before we get to a break. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there may not actually. Well, I think there's one break. We'll get to that later in the season. But yeah, so Talladega on the 30th, Daytona's February 6th, and then Atlanta February 13th. So that's on Friday nights. Obviously, we've got the Sunday night series as well. Their schedule's going to be really similar, just 2 days later, obviously. So they're going to go to Atlanta on Sunday, so 2 days' time. Talladega will be February 1st, Daytona February 8th, and then they'll come back to Atlanta again on February 15th. And then February 22nd and 20th will be Talladega, and that will be the halfway point of the season for both Friday nights and for Sunday nights. We do also have to plug the Tuesday night series. We do still have broadcasts going on over there, and we do definitely have to say thank you to P1 Broadcasting doing us a favor, taking a little bit off of our plate this season. It's the 20th season of Area 51 IndyCar racing on Tuesday nights, and their schedule is going to be, they were off this week, but they'll be at Atlanta next week, followed by Michigan, Kentucky, Nashville, and Kansas to put them at the halfway point for their season. So they started a little bit earlier, but they've got a few more off weeks than we do, and they'll actually go from January 6th to June 2nd, and they've got a 14 race schedule there as well. And again, go check out. Obviously, we do have a lot of fun here on Green White Checker TV, but P1 Broadcasting, like we said, doing us a great favor and doing a really good job covering the IndyCar series stuff to take a little bit off of obviously boss man Mr. Guile Brooks and our plates as well. So we appreciate all that they do and all that helps. So we'll start recapping some of the points here as we get further on into the season. But for now, Brandon, obviously another good solid mostly green flag race here tonight.
Yeah, it was a great race, and can't wait for Sunday. Them guys been putting on an exciting show over there, and ready to see what that brings, and ready for this season. Just to keep on going. It's been I think Cody Nagel said it best, man. It's been a really good, exciting, clean racing season so far, and can't wait to see what the rest of it brings.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, it's got to feel good to get back in the truck for yourself as well, Brandon. I know obviously I missed last week, but the week before, you guys were tearing it up and in pretty good position. So hopefully, see you guys out there, maybe getting an interview with you on Sunday night soon.
Yeah, it's really fun, man. Once again, it's just good to get in back into the car, and then it's just sit back and learn. Some of these guys, Cody and over there, they don't take no breaks, and it shows. Them guys are great behind the wheel, and I'm just thankful to be able to get to run with those guys and just learn a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to cheering you on from up here in the booth. And we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of winter storms coming through this week. Obviously, we joked about it for Guile. He's got to watch out for the for the snow and over there in Tucson, Arizona. But for most, obviously, the country, obviously we're down in Middle Tennessee now, originally from Michigan, so I know how to handle the snow. But obviously, they don't down here, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Did get the snowblower running last night, so that's good. So hopefully won't need it, but hopefully we don't get too much ice too. And obviously, you guys up in Fort Wayne there, Brandon. Hopefully you guys are safe and sound, and everybody else throughout the United States. Hopefully there's not too much crazy weather for you guys, and everyone can stay safe, keep the power on, keep the lights on, and have no issues this weekend. So. we'll see. That for me would be means I'll probably be TBD as far as running the show Sunday, or at least being with Gael. So Gael might be running solo again. Not entirely sure yet, but nonetheless, it's going to be a good time. We're always going to have fun here at Green White Checker TV and in Area 51. So, from all of us here, we want to say thank you for watching, all our fans and all the drivers and everyone who makes this league happen. Appreciate you all. Hope you all stay safe, especially this weekend with all the weather, and hope you take care. And we'll talk to you next time.